Let's talk about God, the word itself, and what it really stands for. We say God all the time, however, we have no intentions on its original meaning. Once you decode this word, it's going to take you to the root. The root of it all tells us that God is the action of invoking. There's many meanings, however, there's three fundamental meanings. As to one of them mainly is to invoke. Once you're invoking, it's as you intend to pray. This is the call upon God. However, we don't yet understand how to perform a prayer. If you take the time out to understand what's a prayer, you'll ask for nothing, because then you're in manifestation with the direct line of the G line, as we know, God, which is invoking. Invoking gratitude means you understand you have all that has to be within your reach in order to evolve. And so if you're evolving, then you understand that all we can do is give thanks from within, because without, it's already being taken care of. See, you're in harmony with the G line as you understand that for God. God is to invoke. And so as we follow down this route, we can see that humanity understands the Son of the Son of God, as they think Jesus is the Son of God. They're not understanding what's being invoked, because whether you believe in Jesus or not, there's a code. There's a code behind the word. The words are the flesh. The flesh is what we create through the dense form of matter. This is where energy meets matter. And so energy is matter, vice versa, at a lower self-conscious state. Now, if you can create ripples at your lowest level of conscience, then this will elevate your frequency from the direct flow of vibration. And as you start ascending from downward upward, you can start to catch higher consciousnesses of understanding. And you're just being a receptor. You are not doing anything, just receiving in states of flow these higher levels of consciousness, because you're creating ripples upwards, not downwards. See, your brain, it's not the mind. The brain is the receptor. The mind, it's separated from the brain, and it sits, spiritually speaking, in the pineal gland, as we understand it, from the empathic nerve system, which coils down the root within your spinal cord. This is the empathic as we know it. And so this is constantly in connection with the brain, and the brain is being receptive, and you're decoding everything in your surroundings. And so once you decode the word Jesus, it's telling us from the first hand origin, Hebrew or Aramaic, I'm not sure at this moment. However, it suffered many translations. And so you're getting washed down Jesus. If anything, you'd be able to call him Joshua rather than. However, this name stands for God's salvation. God is the salvation. As to where you accepting Jesus' name, that means in this code, in this name, in this channel, you are accepting through inheritance of the word, this vibration, this higher frequency, which whatever you want to call it. In this case, we're calling it Jesus. And so Jesus is invoking God. This is the salvation. So once you start to invoke God, you are being saved. This is a spontaneous flow right now, right here. So when we talk about God, esoterically speaking, we got to go what lies beneath this word. It's more than just a word. It's a code, it's a vibration, it's an understanding, it's a knowledge of wisdom, it's the truth. So we got to be careful as far as the God personal and the personal God. See, this word personal sometimes leads to misunderstanding. And it would probably be better if we just speak of God individually as an overall energy of a field of consciousness rather than a God personal. Because this is how we have to identify the mind of God as conscious, which we are part of, we are inside of. See, your brain is not thinking. If you are waking up every day thinking you were the same person that you were yesterday, then you're reincarnating. You're still thinking about the same problems that were there yesterday. And however, you're not giving your present moment the opportunity to manifest because your mind is taking you to the past, which is no longer there. And you want to create a future that is not certain. You only have the present, and that's where you can only create the future from the present. So if your mind is taking you back and forward, then you're not in the present. You're not with the G line, what we understand as God. This is direct flow. This is happening. And so we need to really understand consciously, subconsciously, we can program the self, the mind, to interact with this conscience, aware of what's going on in the field. And I can tell you by just knowing that you're listening to this audio right now, this is a direct line of light flowing through your ears, through the audio. This is vibration, this is frequency, this is what you're tuning in. This is the channel that you are being receptive to. And so this will create ripples at a higher level of vibration as to where you will keep on finding pop-ups of different things that you're looking for. However, is looking for you as well, because now you're in that field. Create some mirror image. So now you start to think positive, and positive will start to appear day to day. Is just a way of life. We cannot let go of this happening. Every day is a brand new present. You have to be aware that it's a brand new day. Let the day evolve on its own, and it will create its reality through your positive thinking. Just be glad that all is perfect and accept the abundance. The universe is abundance of all possibilities. Accept your inheritance from the will of God. God is within. We are all one. Creation needs duality to manifest. If creation wouldn't create, then we wouldn't be even talking. It makes no sense. We would evaporate. Creation sucks itself up. The nothing is the all. Light, it's traveling. Going where exactly, can we ask? Where is it going? It's going nowhere. It's going to the... It's being sucked up to the whole of totality. The whole completeness of the void, as we call it, to understand it at a form of thinking. The void is doing suction through the light. The light is traveling, at a very fast rate because it's going nowhere, really. We are eternal light. So if you've made it this far and you are aware that we are stardust, we are the reaction of an atomic field of energy manifesting through the universal conscience, then you are aware. Okay, and moving forward, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are asking, why are we talking about God and why is this invoking meaning I've never heard of? Well, that was the same thing I felt when I understood what was going on, because you never get it before and you never get it after. You'll get it right now. It's happening. So once you understand the etymology, let me break this down if we're uncertain. once you understand the etymology speaking, this is generally derived from a Proto-Indo-European nature. It's passive perfect participle. However, this form within late Proto-Indo-European itself, it was possibly ambiguous and thought to derive from a root. Okay, so it was meant from the word GHEU underscore quote unquote to pour. It means libate freely, meaning the idea from the pouring, it also influences the Sanskrit because we are being poured. The energy is a direct flow. This is what we understand for chakras, round. So the foreclosure field will draw little circles because actually chakras mean roundness or wheels. It's just two forces colliding and repulsively creating a dance. The light with the dark, it's creating a dance, and in the middle, it's nothing but the void, the peace. That's the force from the field. So in the middle is where is the direct flow. This is where the force is creating an outer layer as we understand it. And in the collision, you can see an energy field of balls, of wheels, of chakras. So let's keep going with this. Sanskrit means, from the Sanskrit, it was influenced the word pour from the Dutch giet. Now the Sanskrit is called huta, set whore. So let me bring that back. I'm sorry. Huta, or from a root guo, means to call, invoke. Now Sanskrit huta is having been sacrificed. This having been sacrificed is being poured. In the Sanskrit, huta is being sacrificed. Now, being poured and being sacrificed can create a conflict of understanding. Now, if you take it to their state of mind, being sacrificed is giving up yourself. The energy is being poured itself. So the self, it's sacrificing to experience itself. So this is why we think death is the end and creates fear. No, it's not the end, my friends, but that will be another video explaining and breaking down death at another perspective. So life is death. It's just the flip side. There's not two different things. You see, in order to be here, you have to void. And so we're evolving at all times. You have to be the all at all times. So we are nothing in the all. It can get tricky, but trust me, with due time, you'll get it right away. And it'll start to fill in the void of not understanding. And it'll all sink in on its own. Right now, you're just subconsciously channeling a program in your subconscious. And this will create ripples in your state of mind. So now, moving forward, depending on which possibility you prefer, pre-Christian or not, meaning a Germanic term from its original root, it can either be pour or libation. You can decide either. It'll give it more or less the same meaning upon the idle thinking. Now, touching up real quick, English way of language still had a system of grammatical gender. Now, the word initially was neutral. However, it went through some transitions and it was converted to Christianity as meaning distinguishing a person of God, person of a Christians, of the impersonal divine power acknowledged by the pagans. So this definitely took a toll on Christianity, and as a result, we know the story. And however, it traces the neutral and gender of it. There was understanding for God as a cosmo, as a perfection of a law. it was determined by the Greeks to call it cosmos. Many ages. This is ancient wisdom, my family. We are just brushing up on this word because nowadays it just seems like it's not being influenced. They're missing their own target. And so we can touch up on that at another video on the word target, meaning origin from sin. And people think they're sinning because they're doing negative. However, sin just means target, the bullseye. If you're not in this direct flow, you're just missing the target. You're sinning. You're sinning, but not by doing bad, just because you're blind to the facts. You don't want to learn more to know more. You want to learn more to ignore less. You see, wisdom is only of key of direct flow. Now, the intellectual part, the knowledge that you're acquiring through these audios and your study groups and so on, this is only intellectual. This is only creating awareness. However, don't try to memorize it, because all you need to know is that you're listening to it and you're subconsciously programming yourself to inherit all this energy and create a positive field of emotions to manifest in the mind and in the body. Now you're aligned in harmony and tuned with the universal law of mentalism. And this law can open doors to the rest of all desires that we can acquire. See, once you understand your role and how the field plays its own understanding of your energy, now you can start making choices a little wiser as to it becomes a dance with creation, and you can manifest and create your reality consciously. And this is what we're trying to do here, my friends. We're trying to just evolve, because the more humanity evolves, the more consciousness evolves, and this creates more awareness, and we can be influenced more by this direct line of flow of God, that it will take other consciousness to higher levels of understanding. Ancient wisdom has already played a big role, and they've led the way. They've led civilization for many ages. However, materialism has taken a toll, and you can easily see that there needs to be a re-evolution within humanity to now know thyself, as the Upanishads mention, that thou art. You gotta know what you are. The Greeks mentioned it. Ancient history mentions it. Everybody talks about it. You gotta know who you are, what it's in, what is without, what is the all, what is the nothing, what is here, what is now. And so this will create a field of reception. Once you start asking questions, you're invoking, you are being God, and God replies to his own consciousness through your experience. Now, don't make judgments what you're going to live out, because this is just what's going to be a result of the experience. We are 95% of our reaction of what is happening. So if you react on a negative note and you're forgetting what you're asking for, then you need to revise and recheck, because certain things will line up and things will happen you will not understand, but it's happening only because you're invoking, you're being God, you're Godding. You see, that's the divine. This is the divine energy that it was hidden from society for many years, because they wouldn't know what to do with this power, because now you have control of your reality. Now, what happens is, you might think this sounds really easy, but a lot of people don't believe in themselves. And if you don't believe in yourself, then who are you going to believe in? Now, once you start understanding what the word God is, now you can start to believe in yourself, because you will go to your present moment and manifest from within with an intention of creating your thoughts being manifested in your reality through the power of the will, through your mouth, creating mentally, emotionally, and intentionally. Okay, my family, this will conclude today's video on God. If you liked what you heard and would like to hear some more on this topic with a little more esoteric teaching of it, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, so you can keep up with our latest information on esoteric teachings. And one fun fact before we go, let's touch up on God bless you. Now, every time everybody sneezes, you get a God bless you, right? And you know what's funny? The fact is that this was credited to Saint Gregory the Great, one of the pagan Romans. And Greeks had a similar custom. They would say God's gift to. And so God of the gaps means God considers solely as an explanation for anything not otherwise explained by science. So every time that they mentioned God, it was just something that they could not put their hands on, and they wouldn't understand what it was. So for the Romans, when they say God, they were just understanding a higher power than themselves, but couldn't explain it. So this is what the phrase really meant. In 1949, it was an idea that had been around since the 1800s, God forbid, for example. And there was actually a God Squad in the 1969s, I believe. And it's just student slang, you know. God's is a huge ground of understanding, you know. And so it's been really imitated down the pipeline, and it's just originated from German, and people don't even know it's a German word, and it's just getting many secondary meanings. And you know, at the end of the day, we can just round up on the field of conscience. This is God. So without further delay, let's just and enjoy that we can understand what we're invoking. Thank you for listening and tuning in from wherever you are. Thank you so much.